Is there anyone from the public who would like to address the board? For a second time, is there anyone from the public that would like to address the board? Third and final time, is there anyone from the public that would like to address the board? Seeing none, public portion is closed at 6:02. I'd like to turn it over to the superintendent and the assistant superintendent on status of schools and the STEM biomedical presentation.
Yeah, we're going to start tonight with the presentation from the kids. As you know, one of our priorities this year was to get back to showcasing some of our programs in the various schools. So we thought the best way to do it was to start with the high school, and we actually had the opportunity to see the full presentations, back in our auditorium, and back by how well they were done. I put it over to Judy to introduce those who are here tonight. Introduce the program.
Okay, as Neil said, it's the STEM biomedical program, and we went to the demonstration or presentation a few weeks ago, and there was 4 cohorts that worked on it, and they did an excellent job. I mean, we were so impressed with it and very proud. So I'll turn this to Raphael, and you can introduce students.
Hi, everybody. I just wanted to give you a brief overview. So we have 2 STEM programs at the high school. One is our engineering program, one is our biomedical program. Tonight, you're going to be hearing from our biomedical students. We have over 270 kids enrolled in both programs and 9 courses. So this is the 4th course on the biomedical sciences. And the teacher is Terry Hartso, and I'm going to have her tell you a little bit about the presentation before the kids go. We also have here Eric Rice, which is a department head for the STEM.
Hi, the biomedical program is a 4-course program that culminates in a capstone class called Biomedical Innovations. It's probably the only course at the high school where the kids kind of set the curriculum for the course. It's completely project-based and collaborative. All of the courses are collaborative. The kids work in teams, but this one is entirely project-based. And the kids are presented with challenges that they have to come up with innovative solutions for, and then present those solutions to an authentic audience. And part of our audience for this presentation involved emergency medical personnel who asked the kids questions and dove deeper into what they were trying to do. The problem for this particular challenge was to design a more efficient and effective emergency department for an urban hospital. So the first thing the kids had to do was find out what the problems and limitations were at urban hospitals currently without being able to visit an urban hospital emergency department because of COVID. So it's a little bit more challenging. And then take those limitations and issues and come up with innovative solutions to them. So you'll see some floor plan designs that are somewhat innovative. You'll see some equipment innovations, use of staff that's a bit innovative. I'll let the kids introduce themselves and introduce what they came up with. Thank you.
You guys are going to have a few interested, especially interested board members. There's a few medical personnel on the board here, so we're really excited to see this.
Yeah, I sent an invitation to our apps, Chief, but I'm not sure that the board uses that. So if you provide other email addresses, that we send invitations for future presentations.
Thank you, and I did receive that, and obviously we're not getting any days off right now, so.
Hello, everyone. My name is Isis Diallo. This is Yara Cordova Seuss. This is the Viacon, and this is Danielle Ricketts. And this is our emergency room, the Coriolo Recon emergency room. This is the layout of our emergency room. We have a clinic. On the bottom, we have an ambulance triage. Towards that is the general admissions. And then in the middle is the actual area in which we treat patients.
Now we'll be going over why our layout is effective, starting with our first point, which is that the central location of the staff facilitates patient observation, as you can observe multiple patients at once. And it also accelerates communication, as you don't have to go to another floor or some place far away to communicate anything. And lastly, all our resources are also centralized at one location. So the doctors don't have to go anywhere far away to get their medical supplies. Secondly, our wide hallways increase capacity as 2 patients can be transported side by side at once. And it also makes space for nursing stations and as well as efficient mobility and access in general. Now, thirdly, we have a duplex layout, as Asha went over. We have on both sides of the hospital, it is the same layout, and so it's easier for staff to find their way around, and we can have twice the amount of patients at once, which makes us predisposed for any disasters should we happen.
As once you enter our hospital, you'll find e-forms, so it's all of these electronic research forms, these take the temperature of the patient, that they can select the language that they're using. This goes directly to the computers that the nurses are using in admissions. After they answer this questionnaire that they're asking the e-forms, they are given a page bank. These words with vitals, reduces time to the nurses to be going out and checking out to the patients, and provides health-related alerts.
Okay, next we have our ambulance triage, which is a center for ambulance patients to be monitored so that they don't take up rooms where people can be treated. So this is where non-urgent cases would be monitored by 1 nurse. So they don't need as many staff and they don't take up the useful space that we need.
Connected to our emergency department, we have a CR clinic. This clinic is there for minor illnesses like infection or small cuts or rashes. We have 5 nurses practitioners and 10 interns. Our patient capacity in the clinic is 15 patients at a time. And these efficiencies reduces the wait time in the emergency.
So all the radiology equipment at Cornell Recon is portable, which means that we don't have the hassle of trying to move our patients to the rooms. The equipment comes to them. So this includes portable ultrasound machines, FDA approved portable MRI machines, portable ECG machines, portable CT scanners, and portable X-ray machines, and they're all very efficient and effective in the way they work.
Now I'll be going over our staffing, and so one of our main goals for staffing is to increase our efficiency, and we'll be doing that by hiring experienced staff and raising their pay rate so they have financial satisfaction to work there, and improving staff perception of the ER working environment, as that has been linked to performance of health professionals in the ER. The types of staff that we'll be hiring will be emergency physicians, CNAs, APRNs, radiology technicians, PAs, and social workers. Based on our urban population, we'll be having 10 physicians and 20 nurses at once in the ER. To address our nursing shortage, the patient to nurse ratio will be 3 to 1, and we plan on hiring trauma nurses as well as code nurses. In order to increase efficiency, we also plan to work in small teams to provide support and reduce any medical errors.
And now I will take you through some of the patient examples so that you have a better understanding of our emergency room. First, we have patient number 1, Tony Stark. He arrives via ambulance. He was playing basketball and hurt his ankle, and emergency medical services was called to bring him to the hospital. First, he enters through the ambulance triage, where he gets a bed and sits, and while the nurses decide where his next phase of treatment will be, and then as he goes to the hospital, he goes up to a patient bed where he is treated, given cast, diagnosed, and then he is brought out through the exit where the staff and visitor parking is. Next, we have Regina George. She arrived via private vehicle. She enters and she's complaining of nausea, she has a high temperature, stomach pains, and so she uses our e-forms where she signs all of those symptoms and then heads over, gets her H-band, and the H-band indicates that she is experiencing some troubling symptoms, and so she's immediately brought into a patient room, a private patient room, where the portable diagnostic machinery indicates that she has appendicitis. And so she goes into the trauma rooms where they do an emergency surgery to remove her appendix, and then she is brought into the hospital over to the right. Thank you. Any questions?
Where can I get my application? I think we have a. I want more security in my emergency room. That was an excellent job, you guys did a really good job.
Good evening, everyone. We're here today to present our level 2 emergency room department design. I'm Ezra Saber, and I'm here with my group mates, Ahmed Mohammed Noor, Abdul Mohammed Noor, and Jaden Shaheen. So to start off, what is a level 2 emergency room? So a level 2 emergency room is equipped with surgeons and anesthesiologists 24 hours daily. It can handle common surgical problems, most auto accidents, and illnesses ranging from heart attacks to strokes.
So this is the floor layout, and at the front of the emergency room is the waiting room for all non-emergent walk-ins. To the right, you can access the bathrooms, and to the left is the infectious disease area, where there's 4 infectious rooms and 1 sterilization room. At the border of the building, at the perimeter, is 3 sets of exam room, 5 exam rooms dedicated to each specialty. And in the middle of these exam rooms is a clinic that contains 3 crash carts. These carts have the equipment and devices to be able to perform code. There's 2 ambulance bays. Bay 1 is emergent, and those patients go straight to operating rooms. And Bay 2 is non-emergent. They either go to the waiting room or examination rooms. And in the middle is the brain center. It's like the pharmacy, like where the staff are.
So to help you understand the layout better, we're going to start with patients. Well, 1 patient. This is Katie Campbell. So she arrived via private vehicle. She came inside. She complained of abdomen pain. So she got her vitals from the waiting room, which we'll talk about more how in a bit. And essentially, she was brought into an examination room. She had some tests done, like physical or blood work. They brought to imaging. Afterwards, got her diagnosis. And then had to go to the OR to get her appendix moved, but she had appendicitis. So looking at the map, you can see she comes from the waiting room. She's escorted to the examination room where she's tested for blood work or physicals. And then she's brought to imaging, like ultrasound, like a CAT scan in case they can find anything with ultrasound. Afterwards, she's given her diagnosis. And then she's given to the OR room to get her appendix removed.
So waiting rooms and triage. Waiting rooms will be made available to non-emergent patients. Non-emergent walk-in patients, to be specific, will be asked to fill out a form through a QR code. This can be filled out through smartphones. It'll just be like basic information and like you list your symptoms and your condition and stuff like that. And this will help nurses assign triage and examination rooms based on the condition of the patient. So after that, walk-in patient vitals. So how vitals will be taken is walk-in patients will be their vitals will be taken through like a non-contact way, which Abdel will talk about. Yeah.
So something I'm pretty sure you guys have probably seen recently is at places like airports, they use thermal imaging to try to get someone's temperature. And so we elaborated on that idea by researching and trying to see if maybe we can get more than just their temperature, but also their pulse. So this is actually photos from a study that they tried to study using RGB and infrared facial imaging analysis to try to get vitals of a pulse and a temperature. And that way we can use non-contact vitals to, it's a non-contact way of trying to obtain vitals. And so we also decided that using this method that would have a camera, that we would also have a nurse kind of monitor the rating room. And so if she sees anything or he sees anything such as an abnormal heart rate or an abnormal temperature, they would be able to act fast. And that way we could still do that, social distancing in our waiting room. And that would help with our COVID procedures, which Jane will talk about later.
Alrighty, so these hallways gurneys, as a hospital can get overcrowded with mass casualty incident, like a shooting and whatnot, or be prepared for that, you could have hallway gurneys. These hallways gurneys will be spaced out throughout the hallways. Remember, the hallways are very spacious and it can fit a lot of gurneys basically, maybe 40, 50, around there. These gurneys have a light pack on them essentially. This light pack essentially you can get pulse, vitals, everything they need to know to check up on the patient, make sure everything's all right.
Examination rooms. So there will be a total of 20 examination rooms in our emergency room. They will be equipped with devices or machines such as portable ultrasound and EKGs. These are like basic testing that are very common. So with having them in our examination rooms, this avoids crowding in another room, and it just makes it a lot more efficient and effective. We also have defibrillators in our room just in case of an emergency situation. We have integrated diagnostic system in our examination rooms, which is basically used for like basic like checkups and stuff like that.
So as you know, at a hospital or ER room, essentially, even if there's no pandemic or anything going on, we must always adhere to an infectious disease protocol to prevent anyone from getting any diseases that impact the operations and efficiency. As you see, there is a bunch of protocols. I'm not going to go over all of them, but basically all of them, they make sure that the ER is safe, environmental friendly, and ensure no contact, always social distancing, always according measures to prevent any infectious diseases from spreading. And as a result, earlier spoken, the infectious disease area, or IDA. IDA is meant to house those people. For instance, if someone has symptoms of COVID-19 or the swine flu, they'd be going in that area. These infectious rooms are always to be cleaned, always sterile. Everything is sterilized. These patients will be there 24/7, being provided adequate care, and we provide according to treatment.
So another thing that we decided would be an innovation would be that to have two separate areas for designated imaging. So things like EKGs, CAT scans, and MRIs. So if you go back to the layout, there are two centers. We have Center for Imaging for non-critical and critical patients. So that's why we have two different centers for imaging. We also have an operating room and the cath labs are connected. So just like with any level 2 trauma center, you're obviously going to have cath labs and operating room. And so we decided that we make these two adjacent to each other, just in case if the cath lab shows that the patient is critical and needs to go to an operating room.
So one of the things that causes like the longest wait time in an emergency room is lab work or lab testing. So we came up with a dedicated emergency room lab made just for emergent patients, so we can get quick and efficient results for emergent patients, just to speed up the process and everything. This is for blood tests, urine tests, just basic testing.
So you might be asking yourself, why is our ER affected? Well, we have a method of obtaining vitals using a camera that will be able to give us a pulse and temperature. We also have 2 ambulance bays, which in many hospitals they don't have this, where we have a critical bay and in non-critical bay. Another innovation we had was, QR codes where they could be filled up to your phone, light packs on gurneys. I don't think many hospitals or any hospitals have light packs on their gurneys, and this would be a great way to, keep in touch with those patients that are, just sitting outside on those gurneys. Have their vitals just in case they become critical. We have crash carts stationed at every nursing station, and that way they could respond quickly if there is a code. And most importantly, a dedicated ER lab, which is really important for mass casualty incidents. When you have a bunch of people coming into the ER and they all need to get their lab, their labs tested for them, and it relieves some pressure on some of those lab technicians as well. It makes it more efficient for our ER. So, thank you.
That was absolutely amazing. Your grasp of medical terminology in and of itself was outstanding. I'm so impressed with, and I'm sure Ann and Andrea would agree with you. A lot of the terms that you use and the way that you pronounce them were completely clinically correct, and that's hard to do even with a postgraduate education. You guys have, I hope, a shining future in the biomedical or medical field, because I think your presentation was outstanding. The old director of the Bridgeport Emergency Room is a friend of mine, and I actually might be talking to him about that.
Dedicated.
Ideas. And extra imaging, my husband's a CAT scan tech too, and that's a whole lot too. So you guys did a great job. I've definitely take some of these ideas back too. I don't think the dedicated lab would be that's
All the other things are maybe a little bit cost prohibitive, but I think a dedicated lab might be something that would be
excellent idea. Great job, guys.
We think that there are ideas, so you're gonna have to pay them.
We can work something out, I'm sure.
Should we start a job?
Yeah, I'm so impressed.
So I want to use the rest of my time tonight. As you all know, this is the last session of this particular board, and it's been a particularly challenging last 2 years. The board members, it's their last meeting. Thank you for your service. And what I always tell any board member, anybody who serves on a commission or council or whatnot, they do seem like thankless jobs at the time. You go meeting to meeting and say, I'm not even sure why I'm here, but I think when you look back over the last 8 years, you've had some time to reflect, you'll see the amazing things that even over the last couple, especially over the last couple of years. I mean, think about the start of distance learning, that we were able to use the pandemic to put a everybody, that we were able to do some things as far as improving our facilities that we probably wouldn't have done had it not been for some extra COVID money. The way we clean buildings, different things we started. You got the ball rolling. While this was all going on, dealing with the pandemic, again, I'm talking just the last 2 years, we started the ball rolling on a brand new elementary school. The modular classrooms are in it daily. I don't know if you've seen them yet. We have to do the final hookups, but they should be ready to go shortly. And I think we've taken advantage of a lot of opportunities. I'll say, I've said this before, I'll say it again, the entire board, especially the 3 who are leaving us tonight, but who knows what the future may bring. We had to make a lot more executive decisions. I appreciate the debate, the discussions, the disagreement. However, I think most importantly, that the decisions had to be made. I never felt like I did have all 9 board members support. That was really appealing. During the pandemic, we were able to, for the most part, keep schools open, keep kids participating in extracurricular activities. get back to normal, a really good opening this year. So, again, I can't thank this entire board enough, but I really want to acknowledge those and city service because, you know, and like I said, over the last 2 years in particular, but there's been a lot of really positive things that have happened. They don't happen without the board working together, without the board supporting the entire administration. All three of you and all of the board members are advocates for all of our employees, our teachers, our paraprofessionals, our clerical and maintenance staff. And again, your words don't go. All three of you, I know, went out of your way to say, please don't spend time talking about me or buy us things that we normally try to, give you a Westigard. But so we didn't do that. But we did do something, and I'll get to that in a minute. And I'm not going to spend time talking about each of you individually, except to say, if I had to look at the three of you, the one thing I think that impressed me most was the time you put in before and after board meetings, going to the schools, talking to our different employees, teachers, getting a really good feel for what goes on. And I don't think people understand that it's more than showing up at a meeting for the last, once every 2 weeks. And I think you guys epitomize that. And, I know you all call me, be it office hours or not office, I'm sorry to bother you. I'm sorry to bother you. Do not bother me. I want to make you aware of what's going on. I tell everybody that I don't always know what's going on, so I always appreciate the heads up. I appreciate the opportunity to get the three of you to say, here's what I think is really happening. And I think that's the sign of someone who really cares about the school board, the school system. Don't wait for a meeting. Don't let something get bottled up inside. As soon as you're made aware of it, you got right on it. And most of the time, I think we were able to address the issues. That says a lot about your guys and your willingness and really wanting to get things done as board members. So I thank you, the three of you, for your service, and I thank you, board members, the entire board, for your support for the last 2 very difficult and challenging years. Now, what we did do, because we couldn't leave without doing something in your honor, Kevin and I talked a lot about it, understood why you want to get jackets or hats or those kinds of things. And again, what I said earlier about, how does it benefit students? What can we do for you guys to benefit students? So once I couldn't figure out what to do, I did what I always do. I went to Tammy and she said, here's what I think you should do. So what we've done, and I just bought samples of them tonight. If you want to come up, we'll get a picture. If somebody gives a picture, we can get them, get them up on the website. What we decided to do was, these are the high school books. We want to look at each of your honor service, place in the library, and we'll say we want this would happen to be for Rosemary. This is what we've been donated in honor of Rosemary Russo, for 8 years of service as a Board of Education member, and for your commitment to the students of West Haven on November 15, 2021. Let me look again, each of your honors, each of our libraries. So we thought that goes back to the kids. We're probably going to buy it anyway, so I think we should. But it's nice that somebody will see it and say, oh, yeah, Judy, you did a good job with this. She put her time in. She was very confident. So the three of you guys will come up here. We were hoping David was going to be here tonight. We'll meet the folks with data. Come on up. We'll get a picture. What you guys do? I'm sorry. Gil. Break it out, break it up, when you get a chance. And that concludes my report, and then again, just one more thing, higher board discussion.
Thank you.
So you saw the presentation, and we have a lot of wonderful things going on in the school system, and we're going to try and share those with you at the different meetings. The beginning of the year, of course, we had a lot of transitions, routines students had to get used to, but everybody seems to be settling in, the staff and the students. We did do professional development on election day, and it was pretty successful. We had social emotional at the upper levels, and we did a math and reading in the lower levels, elementary levels. We're starting tiered instruction, because now that we know the students and what they come with, we've been able to tier the students to address their individual needs. Next month, Marissa is going to be presenting to you our enrichment program that we started in October for the elementary students. And we're working with students that were either distance learners, students that were EL students, or students that are just struggling. And it's been pretty successful. We've gone from each elementary school for a couple of weeks with intense work with children, but project-based, so that students are very engaged when they're there. We have our data teams have been established, and ACES is supporting them with feedback. And again, we worked on professional development for the teachers, addressing their needs as well as the needs of the students. Thank you.
Thanks, Judy. I just want to echo what Neil said about being able to share the board with the three of you. I think you learn more from people that you may not always agree with than by surrounding yourself with people who always agree with you. And I appreciated the unique perspective that each one of you brought to the board, and to me as the chair. You made my job look very easy. Your dedication to the students and residents of West Haven will be hard to match. And especially a little special shout out to my vice chair, who has always had my back and helped me learn my role as the chair. I appreciate the three of you more than you probably realize, and you will be sorely missed. And I did the whole thing now. Very unusual for me. Next, student representatives.
Hello, everyone. We had quite the busy past couple of weeks, so we have a bunch of points to make tonight. And I would just like to start off with, we will be having our annual Powerpuff games on November 24th. And you're all invited, obviously. Tickets are $2, and you could see anyone in athletics that will be selling those. And during the Powerpuff games, student government will be holding a Pie Teacher in the Face fundraiser, so that will be fun. Next, I would just like to say, so we have a half day that day, so there'll be the last 2 blocks. I'm not exactly sure of the half day schedule, but I can get a time for you.
What time? You know what time? Starts at like 10:28, I think it's the time. I'll send it.
That's fine. Just want an idea. Thank you.
We also had a very successful Pep Rally on November 5th, It was a lot of fun. We had a lot of performances by the band, dance, cheer, and step team. We also had our first cake eating contest in which Joe Hawkins, representing the students, was victorious against one of our gym teachers, Steve Carden. And we also had a lot of other fun activities such as the relay race and tug of war. I would also like to highlight our two students who received the CIAC Fall Scholar Athlete Award, which is Madison Molster and Murtaza Ahmed. And National Honor Society also had a very successful MDA fundraiser, and we raised money for the Muscular Dystrophy Association. And I would also like to tell you that the health clinic and Ms. Borgillo have teamed up and they started a walking challenge, which is on its way out, and the winner of that will receive a free Fitbit.
Everyone who participates receives a Fitbit.
Oh, everyone who participated receives a Fitbit, sorry. Yeah, so very good.
Donated by Optimus. Donated by Optimus.
What she said. I can't hear her.
Donated by Optima.
Optimus that runs the
Optimus, student-based health.
Yeah.
And the West Haven High School Health Team also teamed up with Stop and Shop to get prescriptions delivered to the high school free of charge for the students who are having trouble accessing medications that the health center prescribes to the students they see. And that's all I have for my part.
Good evening, everybody. I would just like to start off by saying that Decision Day is this Friday, and that's when the seniors have appointments with admissions representatives, and they get a decision on spot. So I have lots of seniors signed up, so a lot of us will have decisions by the end of this week. And schools like UNH, Western, Eastern, Quinnipiac, they'll all be there. So it will be a full day event, so feel free to stop by and join in the fun. I know counselors really look forward to this day. It's very exciting. Next, the Italian class translated a book from Spanish to Italian. It was a book by Jennifer Degerhardt called La Chica Nueva. And so the students' names were featured inside, and the book is already being distributed in different school districts. I think a school district even in the Netherlands, so that's really cool. On November 5th in the cafeteria to end French week, there was hot chocolate and French pastry served in the cafeteria, along with some French music played, and I know students really enjoyed that. It was a hit and it was sponsored by the French Club. Also in the cafeteria, the make your own wrap and salad bars are back, and also make your own sandwiches, and students are really happy about that because we get to pick and choose what we get to eat, and also pizza is back, so students are definitely enjoying the lunches more, which is really good. Lines are getting longer.
That's really good to hear.
Yeah. No problem. Yeah, also care advocates are starting to fundraise for Toys for Joy. The annual fundraiser. You started selling calendars for $20 that enter you into a raffle for all of December. So if you're interested in buying a calendar or donating, you can come to either of us, me and Orna, be at the end of the meeting, and we'd be happy to take care of that for you. And all proceeds go to Toys for Joy, which, as you know, provides toys to families in need for Christmas. And lastly, peer advocates will be hosting a parent portal workshop. Today was the first one, and there will also be another one on the 22nd, so that parents can know how to navigate parent portal. Okay, that's it from us. Any questions?
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, and we have to board. I'll start down here.
Thank you. I'm going to hear a speech tonight. It was my last meeting, but I've had the pleasure to serve on this board for the last 8 years. It's been a pleasure to serve with you as superintendent, and now Julie, thank you for your great job you've done over the years. You've always had the door open for me. I know from the whole board, questions, concerns, and you said tonight, really did your best to make sure that the problem was that last 2 years, obviously, we know that. I mean, this world, it's quite a last 2 years, to be honest with you. And, I think this board did work well together in trying to solve the problems that we had within the school system. I think we did a lot of great things, as bad as the pandemic was, as far as maintaining the schools, making sure the schools were safe, duct work, things of that nature, getting equipment for our staff and our students. Great job with that. Ask this board to continue to take care of our staff. Second to none in the state of Connecticut, as far as I'm concerned, do a great job for us. I always felt that I try to advocate for our staff and for our students because you're the people that really make it work. And it's my pleasure to serve those Richardson and those who serve there too. People did a great job on this board. It's been my pleasure. I don't always agree on everything, but I know in my heart that you always did the right thing on behalf of our staff and students. So, as I said, it's been my pleasure to serve the last 8 years. I've been in town for the last 64 years, and I'm going to stay here the rest of my life. And if I feel that something's not right, I'll be sitting over there. I don't know about that. But wish everybody great holiday, great Thanksgiving, great Christmas, and once again, thanks for the 8 years I had in this board. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Along with how we were on the chance to attend the girl breakfast celebration. It's nice to be part of that with the staff. And to Rose and Jimmy, it's a pleasure to serve with you. Any of you will help me tomorrow or next week. Certainly, we'll expect to hear from you. And I have a job for 1 minute. Any of the three will be shy of calling anyone on the board to share your opinions, and your opinions are still valid. We have thank you all for your service, and I'm sure you're going to strengthen us.
Move down to Andrea.
I just want to wish the three of you the best of luck and say that it was a pleasure to serve on this board with you guys. And, I learned a lot from the three of you, and just amazes me that all your time you put into your luck hours and your own hours. So it warms my heart to see that. So thank you very much.
First of all, I just want to know that I did go back for school, and I really like the black job that we've done with the pink job. So thank you very much for that.
That at once work, it's still good, it's really good.
It's a great thing. I would just like everyone to know it's my privilege to serve on this board for 8 years. I've been a teacher all my life, and to be able to sit here and learn different things about education really means a lot to me. I'd like to personally thank you for all the time you spent answering my 101 questions about everything. And it's always very patient and very kind. Dr. Drusilowski, I loved working with her, and I loved working with all the board members. And again, it's just my privilege to serve on this board. Judy, I wish I had got to serve a little bit longer with you, but stay in touch. So thank you, Mom. It's been a pleasure.
Neil and Kelly only what we think about food that we're living. And I know for sure that they're going to be coming back sometime again. Serving the board. I don't know that this is going to expand. But you'll help me do what to do. Right, thank you.
I just want to thank all three board members for their time. All three added a unique perspective. Jimmy was always good about anything that was going on in the schools, in the building, and all that. He was like super with that, always on top of it. Rose was always good with the union stuff. She always knew where it was going with that. And those who was always good with all the kid stuff. Not that you all didn't go back and forth with those things, but it was always interesting to hear your perspectives on privilege and honor to look at this years and wish you all the best of luck and I hope you're back in 2 years. Yeah.
I want to say thank you for uniting the community perspectives. I like listening to, even when I don't agree with you guys, or you always are respectful and educational. And I hope that enjoy the time off. enjoy the well-deserved rest. Last but not least, my sidekick.
Thank you. It was an honor. I'll still be calling you. All right. Right. D1, approval of minutes. I'll entertain a motion.
Motion.
Second,
Second.
any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? D3, 21-130, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion.
Second, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any abstentions? Oh, any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. D4, new business, 21-31, motion to accept the Harry M. Bailey partial roof replacement state project number 156-0141 RR as complete. I'll entertain a motion. Second, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. The rest of the agenda is informational, so I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion. Second? All in favor? We do have coffee or some cupcakes in the back to celebrate your service. Anyone here to partake? Cupcake for dinner? Exactly. Right? I'm old.